Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. It's TPM5 here, back again with another NBA video, and in today's video I'm going to be previewing the Western Conference semifinals between the Utah Jazz and the LA Clippers. The Utah Jazz won their first series round against the Memphis Grizzlies following a Game 1 defeat. They ended up rallying to win 4 games straight and advance to the next round. The Utah Jazz were led by Donovan Mitchell as usual, as he averaged 29 points and 6 assists, and then the likes of Jordan Clarkson and Bojan Bogdanovic chipped in with 18 points per game each, taking some of the scoring load off Donovan Mitchell, and if he has an off night they can step up for him. Mike Conley, with the veteran presence, was averaging 17 points and 9 assists, which is, obviously what you'd want to have on a contending team. And also one thing I would like to add, this Jazz team, as you guys probably know, is very deep, and it does remind me a lot about the 2004 Pistons team went the whole way. Obviously Donovan Mitchell probably is the standout star on this team, however a lot of players are fairly equal outside of Donovan Mitchell and Gobert. Gobert himself averaged 17 points and 13 rebounds along with 3 blocks, so he was himself in terms of his defensive ability. I'm just going to take this chance before I go any further to remind you guys that I make NBA content on this channel, and I'd heavily appreciate it if you subscribed, liked the video, and also commented your predictions for this series too, as I try my best and I enjoy reading all your responses. I'd also like to talk about Royce O'Neal as well. Obviously, in this very well-rounded team with a lot of options, he does go under the radar, but he was averaging 11 points and 7 rebounds, along with shooting a staggering 54% from 3 on more than 5 attempts per game. If he can keep that up, he'll be key for the Jazz as an X factor, and he could also slow down, I can't say stop, but slow down Paul George or Kawhi Leonard possibly. Well, this raises a question. How will the Utah Jazz stop the LA Clippers? They both obviously have a very well-rounded team with a lot of depth, and both of them are ranked in the top 10 in terms of offensive ranking and defensive ranking as well, with the Jazz having the edge on defense, but the Clippers having the edge on offense. So this is really going to be a very well balanced series. Now just a quick injury update. Now Mike Conley has suffered a mild hamstring strain. He only played roughly 11 minutes of the Game 5 win, so he's expected to make a recovery by the time the Round 2 series against the Clippers starts. However, it is worth noting that he might not be up to full strength. Then also the Utah Jazz Stadium Vivint Arena returns to full capacity for the second round. So I bring that up because obviously they have home court advantage the whole way through until the NBA Finals. And some other teams have different, obviously because it's state-based, some teams have different restrictions they have to adhere to, so that gives them a big advantage. And I guess it makes home court feel more like home, if that makes sense, because that was also one of the aspects of the bubble that caused a lot of upsets to happen, because obviously there's no fans, it's almost like a YMCA gym thing, and yeah. But now I'm going to move on to the Clippers part of the preview. So the LA Clippers this year, with a 4 seed, they took down the Dallas Mavericks in a hotly contested 7-game series. They obviously had their troubles and struggles there. In this next round, they have to find better ways to guard Donovan Mitchell, because the way they were guarding Luka at some stages, putting poor Reggie Jackson onto him, it won't end well if they continue to do that. But in the end, they made it through, and they had some struggles at their home arena. Obviously, they lost the first 2 games of the series there, and there was a bit of drama, but that's that. They live to fight another day. The Clippers were led by Kawhi Leonard as normal, as he is averaging 33 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists these playoffs after the first round. Then you have 24 points per game, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists from Paul George. Then Reggie Jackson stood up big in a few games, especially in Game 6 as well. I think he had 14 in the first quarter, so he stood up when Kawhi was struggling. I think Kawhi only had 3 in that first quarter, so he stood up when it mattered. And you have the likes of Marcus Morris, Nicola Batum, Serge Ibaka, and Rajon Rondo notably rounding out the bench. In the first round, the Clippers obviously had their ups and downs. This is reflected in the offensive and defensive rating. In the offensive rating, the Clippers had a ranking of 6 in the NBA out of all the teams that were left, and then they were ranked 7th in terms of defensive rating as well. Now, throughout the regular season, the Clippers and the Jazz played each other 3 times. Now, in the first matchup, they were both fully healthy, with the Jazz winning by 6. Then the second matchup, the Jazz won. However, Paul George and Kawhi Leonard weren't playing at all. They did win by 18, which isn't a surprise. And the final game that they played on the 20th of February, the Clippers won by 4, and that was both a full strength lineup for each teams. So it's interesting to see how that'll match up. They're obviously very even when it comes to that. I don't count the game where the Clippers were injured, so they're basically 1-1 against each other. So it's very interesting. They're both very tight knit as well when it comes to the standings. At the end of the year, it's worth knowing the Clippers kind of tanked a bit to avoid playing the Lakers, which at this point, yeah, it looks genius. It looks like it's worked, but it could have backfired, and it looked like it was going to there for a period against the Mavericks. But that brings it to my prediction now. So overall, I think that the Jazz, this is a really tough one, but I think that the Jazz probably can edge out the Clippers because they're more consistent on the defensive side of the ball. So yeah, I think that the Jazz win in 7 games, but it's going to be very tight. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Comment your predictions too, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you.